Well, hey family, this is Darlene. Wanted to stop by like really quick. Yesterday and this morning, I got the opportunity to look through my emails. Some of the emails have been in there for like maybe 3 weeks, and I apologize for not answering. I saw the email, but I wasn't able to answer the email only because what happens is many of the emails are very involved. It's going to take me time to like literally answer them. It's not something where I can just say quickly, oh, that's online at 123. Like something like that. Many of the emails are very involved. They're very detailed. They're asking questions about maybe 9 or 10 different things. And when I look at it, I kind of scan it, but I'm not able to answer it at that moment. So I say, okay, well, I do have to come back to that. So what will happen with that is, of course, other emails are coming in, and then those emails just kind of get lost in the shuffle, right? However, I do go back and read through the emails, and I do answer people back at some point. It may take a little while sometime when it's a very lengthy email, but I do get back to people. So yesterday and today, I was going through the emails, and as I'm going through the emails, many of the questions that are being asked in those emails, the answers are in my ebooks, and I have ebooks on Etsy. Right, I have 3 different books. I have one that's called The Business of a Micro Business. It's a manual and a workbook. So in that manual and workbook, it's about 59 pages. And when I say that it is very detailed, it helps you to define your success. It helps you figure out your business plan or to develop a business plan. It's very simple and to the point. And after every chapter, there is a quiz or an area that's going to ask you questions where it's going to provoke your thought, right? So it's 59 pages, and it's really good if you're wanting to start a business with what it is that you make, or even if you're in business and you still can't figure out the alignment for the concept of your business, right? And it really does help with that because it provokes thought. It makes you answer questions as it relates to business and all these different things. And many times we make the product and we want to sell the product, but we don't understand the business aspect of it, right? And if you think about it with celebrities, that's why you hear so many bad stories about celebrities. They know how to entertain, well, entertainers, they know how to entertain, but they don't know the business aspect of it. So they end up broke and losing everything in the 1, 2, 3s. I still would never understand that when they got people over their money and all these other type of things, right? And if you tell me another black person didn't have a will, we gonna have to protest on this, because you can't tell me every one of these black people that's dying don't have wills. I just refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that every black celebrity that dies does not have a will. That don't make sense to me. That's even like with Prince. You can't tell me Prince didn't have no will. You ever listen to Prince talk? You can't tell me that man didn't have no will. But see, that's what happens when you got other people over what it is that you own, and your other people don't know nothing about nothing, right? It's like, you can't tell me that. And all them people work together too like that. I'm like, every black person that died don't have no will. Y'all need to stop with that stuff, because it's unbelievable. It don't even make no sense to me. But anyway, I digressed. But with the emails and with the books, not only is it the business of a micro business, there's also the cost. I think it's the business of cost structures, something about cost structures, and it helps you to do a breakdown and all that good stuff about product, how to price your product, overhead costs, direct costs, like all these different things. That's an Etsy too. And then there's another ebook that I have in there, like building brand loyalty through email marketing, right? That's that one. And then there's also an ebook that I have in there that's about social media marketing, how to use social media to market. So like all these questions that I'm looking at outside of, like where'd you get that? Where'd you get those beads? Where'd you get that wire? Where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? That's outside of all the other questions. But a lot of the questions are like, they're business related. And I'm saying, okay, well, wait a minute. I got ebooks that's on Etsy about everything that you're asking me as it relates to business, right? And then one of the ladies was asking me about email marketing. You absolutely can do email marketing. Absolutely, positively. So if you go to, she says she do some events. So when you go out to the events, but what she was not doing, and she did confess that in the email, that she does not collect emails when she's out and about at these events. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. You always want to collect emails when you're out at these different events, because what that is, that's a potential customer. Excuse me for a minute. That's a potential customer, even if it's not a customer right now at that very moment. And remember what we're doing. We're building familiarity. We want to build brand loyalty. And then how do we build brand loyalty? We build brand loyalty through experience of what? Our products, right? We build brand loyalty through experience of our products. And in addition to that, what are we doing? Brand familiarity. We want them to be familiar with our products. And then how do we do that? Think about how celebrities do. Their marketing team keep them people in our face. Nobody would know about Kim Kardashian if they didn't market her, if she didn't stay on social media like that. Anytime you stay in somebody's face like that, they have to become familiar with you. Now it becomes this point of if they consume the product or not. So you have a decision. You can make a decision if you want to consume the product or not. So think about it in terms of your product, what you make, right? First of all, it has to be this mindset that your product is of value. And I'm going to tell you about the Proverb 31 woman. She perceived that her merchandise was good. And what did she do? She took her product to the merchants at the market and she sold it. So what was she basically? She was a wholesaler. She was an entrepreneur, but she was also a wholesaler. So she made what she made with her hands. She took it to the market and she sold it to the merchants. She didn't sell it to by retail. She sold it to the merchants. So when she sold it to the merchants, it then became the merchant's responsibility to now do what? To sell the product. Right? So you have to perceive that your merchandise is good enough to be sold, right? And at a specific amount. You know, don't make something that's worth $50 $2. Don't do that to yourself. You have to understand the value. And that one book about cost structure, it will help you to determine and understand about cost structure, about direct costs, about overhead costs, about all these different costs that's included in a small business. And that book is probably about 8 pages, I think, but it's packed with information. It's packed with a lot of information because I get a lot of questions like kind of over and over again about costs, about this, about that. And the simplest of the simplest of the simplest of the simplest that I can say is write things down. Your expenses versus your profit. Your expenses versus profit, and you will never go wrong with that. That is the simplest form of bookkeeping that you can do. If you're not familiar with accounting or bookkeeping, that is the simplest form of bookkeeping that any one person can do. Expenses, profit. Expenses, profit. And that's all you need to know, and you keep moving forward from there. So as long as you are not in the negative when it comes to expensive, and you are in the positive when it comes to profit, you're winning. Like every single time. Email marketing, building brand loyalty through email marketing. So let's get back to the lady, and she was saying that she does not establish a list. Okay, you want to establish a list. You want to do that, and the reason why you want to do that, think about COVID. COVID took us out of commission for 2 years. You can't go outside and sell anything. You can't be at any events. You can't do anything. Everything was basically online, right? So if you had an online presence, you were still able to do business. That's why you need a website. That's why you need an online presence, right? So you can still be doing business even when everything is shut down. You can still do business if you're not feeling well. I'm going to tell you guys something. So I had, was it 19 days? I was in the hospital for 19 days. 19 days in the hospital. What did I do the entire 19 days that I was in there? I conducted business. And the reason why I was able to conduct business because everything is basically online. So my website, my Facebook, like everything is there, and even my email list. So I was still able to send out emails where I couldn't make product. That I couldn't do. However, I had pictures. I had taken all my pictures. This was before I went in. Taking pictures, like I had all kind of content that I could use and curate and do like all these things, and then produce emails and then send out emails. I could go onto the website, change things up, add pictures, like do all this type of stuff, right? And nobody ever knew. Nobody even knew I was in the hospital. My son knew. My son knew. I think my sister knew. And one other person knew. I didn't even tell anybody where I was, right? And of course my job knew, because of course that's my job. But I said that to say, when you're online like that, no matter, even if you're on vacation, you can still be doing work. So before you leave, you take a whole bunch of pictures, right? You got all your pictures, you got all your content, you got everything. And on your downtime on vacation, you can still be doing some work, so it does make sense to be online. And if you have an email list, there's something called lead magnet. We don't like to give stuff away, but it's something called a lead magnet. And a lead magnet basically draws people or potential customers to your online presence. It might be your website, it might be your Instagram page, it might be your Facebook page, right? It's something that you offer to people for free. That could be a free ebook, it could be free worksheets, it could be free keychain, it could be something free that you offer to people for nothing. Let's say you're a jewelry maker, okay? And you make these cute little adorable, doll earrings. And they cost you probably $1 to make, right? Maybe $1 to make. That could be something that's free, but they pay for the shipping. They pay for the shipping, and they pay an administrative fee or processing fee, right? So they pay for the shipping and they paying for the processing fee. So on the back end, it's free, but you're still receiving some type of financial compensation for it, okay? The processing fee. You're charging them a fee to process what you're giving to them for free. And they have to pay for their own shipping, right? So that could be a lead magnet. And what happens with that lead magnet, when they get to your website or your Facebook or your Instagram, right? They literally have to provide you with their email address. And when they provide you with their email address, what happens with that? They get added to your email list. And it's specified that, hey, you're joining this email list because you will receive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever your verbiage is going to be. They're going to okay it because, for one, they're interested in your product. We know that because you're offering them something that is relative to your complete collection, right? So that's something that you might want to consider. And I'm working on, it's an ebook for business, not business, but like marketing ideas for your jewelry line. So I am working on that. That's going to be added to the Etsy website really soon. And a lot of it is based on like questions, like a lot of questions that I get, and the questions are like really good questions too. And I don't mind answering them. And if I take a little while to answer, I do apologize for that, just knowing that your girl is busy. Okay? I got stuff to do, but there are, in my Etsy shop, it's etsy.com /shop/Jewelry by BDK CO. So it's etsy.com /shop/Jewelry by BDK CO. So I do have ebooks on there, and I think I talked about that. The business of a micro business, which is a manual and a workbook. And that one is 59 pages. It is like pumped and filled with business information, like how they help you come up with your business concept, like all these good things. And it provokes thought. At the end of each chapter, you have to answer questions, and it really provokes thought. Building brand loyalty. Building brand loyalty through email marketing is another one. The other one I have on there is cost structure, the business of cost structures. There's also social media marketing. The social media marketing is a really good one. So if you're on Instagram and Facebook and all those places, that one is like a really, really good one, to get to open your eyes a lot more to social media marketing. And just remember, familiarity. You have to keep it pumped. So if you're trying to do anything with your product other than it just being therapy for you, or you just like making jewelry, and that's all good stuff too. That's all good stuff too. However, if you're saying that what I'm making, I know that my merchandise is good and it's good enough to take to the market, right? You want to start thinking and going in that direction. And many times you just need, some tools, just a little information that will help you to go in that direction and literally stay in that direction. And I do think the eBooks that I'm offering in my Etsy shop will help you with that. And they're packed with information, like really good information. I am working on a vendors list, and I'm also working on another ebook that talks about like marketing ideas for your business, jewelry, more so jewelry, because that's our thing. Our thing is pretty much jewelry. And with the billions of people in the world, you have to operate in a spirit of, this is my purpose. God put me here for this. It won't go away. It's not going to go away because he put it in you. Favor. He has given you favor to be able to do these things. And then I'm going to close with this. 2 Kings 4. 2 Kings 4, where the widow woman goes to Elijah, and she says to Elijah that the creditors have come to take away my sons to make them servants. And Elijah immediately says, well, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do? And then he says, well, what do you have in your house? And she said, well, I don't have anything in my house except some oil. And it was olive oil, because remember at that time, olive oil was very valuable. That was like gold. That was like money. So he says, well, go get vases, not a few, but many, even if you have to borrow some. And then go into your house, close the door, and then fill those vessels. So she did exactly that. She did exactly what Elijah, suggested to her to do. Then after she did that, she goes back to him and, says, hey, I did what you asked me. So he says, now take it and sell it. Go to the market and now sell it. And then once you do that, pay your debts and then live off of the profit, right? So that tells me that the woman she must have got rich, because if she made enough money to pay her debts and then for her and her sons to live off of the rest of, she did pretty good. She did pretty good. So sometimes it's this thing of, okay, what do I have in my house? What is it that my hands produce? What is it that my mind can conceive, right? And then you figure a way to be able to market that. And then think about the Proverbs 31 woman, where it says that she considereth a field or a land and she go buy it. So that land doesn't necessarily have to be a land that's land outside. That can be a website. It can be an Instagram page. It can be a Facebook page. You have to consider those things, and then you have to plant seeds. And what are the seeds that you're going to plant? That's your product. And remember, our whole thing is familiarity and building brand loyalty. And we can only do that if we stay in the face of our customers and potential customers. That's the only way we can do that. So if it is that you're wanting to make what it is that you do a small business that can grow into something even bigger, right? There are things that you have to do. There are some tools, and you have to be consistent. And I think what happens is many times when people have an income, that's an income that sustains them, that hunger, to build something is not really there. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll do it, but I'm not trying to, make 7 figures off of it. Well, guess what? I am. I'm I'm gonna make seven figures off of it, or more if I possibly can. I'm gonna do that, right? And that's the mindset for me. It's not therapy for me. It is like a therapy, but it's not therapy for me. The point for me is to build it and to build it into something that will hopefully be able to sustain itself far beyond me. And I think I've said that more than once in a video. With jewelry, my son may not be able to make jewelry, but he can hire somebody to make it. It's just like with Gucci and Versace and all those big names. They don't come up with those designs. They hire designers to come up with ideas for designs. They pay them to work for them, and then that's what you see. So they may have ideas like when they first start with their designs, but at some point they pick and pluck the designers that have the best ideas for clothing. They hire them on, they pay them as employees, and then you see the line that they come up with. So that's another thing. So don't ever think that what you're building and what you're doing cannot be sustained outside of you. It can, especially if it's producing, like some income and stuff. No, it can be done. They can hire people to make some stuff fast, quick, and in a hurry. And then sometime there may even need to be a shift in your business. It might have to be changing up a product. It might have to be a little bit of something, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that I answered the email. And I think I covered everything I wanted to cover in this video as it relates to that. But all I can say is stay steadfast. If it's something that you were meant to do and it is your absolute purpose, dwell in that, operate in that, live in faith, as it relates to that, and just make a bunch of stuff. Just make a whole bunch of stuff. And never let the idea come into mind, where am I going to sell this? That's negative. That's negative. The whole thought is, I am making all this product because I'm going to sell it all. I'm going to sell it all. Every last bit of it, I'm going to sell it. Right? And if you can find a couple of places, one or two places where you can sell every month at, that would be grand too. And even if you go to a place and you don't do absolutely positively well, do a comparison. Email lists, sales, right? Email list, sales. So you're at an event, you have your email list out, right? So you might have made your money back for what you paid for the spot, maybe a little bit more profit. But then when you look at your email list, how many names is on that email list? How many names are on that email list? And does it make sense for you to go to that place again next month? Right? Does it make sense for you to go again next month? Based on email lists. Now, profit is good. We want a little bit of profit. We want that. But just think too, though, many times people come to things and they may not have the money right then and there to buy something. They love what you have. They absolutely love it. That's why you have to have them sauce items. That's why you got to have that. Because if the foot traffic is 500 people, I at least want to sell $500 $1 items. Right? That's just my mind frame. I at least want to sell $500 $1 items. And people want to support. They want to support, but sometimes they may not have, the financial resources to be able to pay for it at that time, at that moment. And just remembering that jewelry is an impulse buy. So always have something available for people to buy because they want to support a $1 item, $2 item, $3 item. You figure that out as you go along the way. But email lists are absolutely positively valuable. You want those. That's gold, okay? You can always be marketing to those people even when you're not outside selling, right? But anyway, Darlene Knight for Jewelry by BDK. You can check out all the ebooks in my Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/Jewelry by BDK CO. And guess what, family? We'll talk soon.